Welcome to Know Your Toastmasters Leader. I am Suraj Gawane, and every week I have conversations with the best leaders to help you become the very best leader that you can be. Today, my guest is
Andrew Clematis, Glasgow Toastmasters, this year's Vice President of Education and also Area Director, Area 60, West of Scotland.
Tell me a bit about yourself or a childhood story that shaped a kind of leader you are now.
Well, thank you, Suraj. That's an excellent question. And I think that if I told you a story of my early childhood, it would probably demonstrate where I started my journey. I was the eldest of 6 siblings. So my parents looked at me as being the leader. You're responsible for whatever happens around the house. So I was forced to make sure that my siblings kept to the straight and narrow. And that went on further because I was dead keen on joining Boy Scouts. And I joined Boy Scouts. I started as a cub and right the way through to senior scouts and on to becoming a scout leader. In Scouts, I learned all about various proficiency badges. It's a bit like Toastmasters and following pathways. And I loved it. And somebody in the leadership team thought, you shouldn't be doing this by yourself. You should be leading others. So I became a pack leader. Then I became the senior pack leader and eventually a junior leader within the Scouting Association.
And that was in Africa.
This was all under the wonderful blue skies of Africa. Yes, it was. And then I got to school. And at school, I was introduced to sport. What a fantastic thing that was. I played cricket. I played basketball. I played rugby. I was never a natural sportsman. I had to work at it. But I found that I loved practice. And somebody somewhere said, that man's got skill. And before I knew where I was now being held as the leader of the pack, the vice captain of the rugby team, the captain of the rugby team. It was about discovering that to be a leader, you had to encourage other members in the team to follow you, to do their best, and turn around and say, come on, boys, let's do better. Let's win this game. After school, I ended up in the forces. And the forces was a different experience altogether because now I was an adult. And for a year or two, I was your average troopie. I got up and I waited for somebody to tell me what to do, and I simply did it. And there came a point in time where, again, somebody said, he's too good to follow. And I'm not sounding arrogant, but out of the blue came an order, you're going to become an officer. And they sent me to officer training. And they taught me at officer training how to lead men. Know your men, lead by example. They will follow you, they gain their respect, and you will become the leader that you need to be. And that's exactly what happened. And from the army, go into commerce. And in commerce, by now, I was no longer a follower. I always wanted to be in front of the pack, leading by example, going and looking for deals, how to make money. And I loved it. So there, in a nutshell, the early life of myself.
How these Toastmasters help you to grow as a leader and how this can help others too?
Well, the first thing we need to understand is that I've been in Toastmasters for a very long time. 28 years is when I first discovered Toastmasters, quite by accident. I never used to like getting up to speak in public like most people. I shied away from it. But I discovered Toastmasters. They took me in with open arms and they taught me that you don't need to fear public speaking. Through my career in Toastmasters, which was largely done in and around London, I served the club in various roles. I've been president a few times. I've been an area director. I've been a divisional director, which in London is quite a big thing, lots and lots of clubs. By the time I got to Scotland, And by the time I'd walked through the door of Glasgow Toastmasters, I suppose you could say I wasn't your average recruit. And I was very conscious that with that amount of experience under my belt, I was probably going to be far ahead of most people within the club, the experience that I had. And I didn't want to sound arrogant. I wanted to sit back, wait until there was an opening, and then slowly show the club the experience that I had. As it happens, I found that within a very short space of time, I was being asked to do more and more for the club. And I just took those opportunities with both hands and got on with it, looking after things like PR. What do I know about PR? Well, at the time, not an awful lot. So it was advantageous for me because I was able to go back almost to school, if you like, and learn the art of PR. Club secretary. Well, I'm actually a chartered secretary by profession, so that was a natural thing for me to do. Looking at membership, just generally being the good guy around the club, offering my experience in the form of mentorship, where people outside of club know that they can pick up the phone or they can drop me a line, and I will take time out of my day to call them and to find out how I can help. And that was my introduction to leadership within the club. It was really using my experience to help others on their journey through Toastmasters.
Andrew, you're known for your good vibes and always known for closing the deal. What's your secret?
Well, I think that Toastmasters is like a business. People disagree. I don't. In business, you need to understand the product or the service that is on offer. You need to find customers that need that service. You sell the service, and the real key to success is making sure you look after that customer. Is Toastmasters any different? I don't think so. We need to find customers. Customers are members, and the service we offer is the ability to teach members to get over their fear of public speaking. And we can do that through Pathways, our wonderful educational program that we have on offer. In terms of closing the deal is only part of the deal. Repeating myself there, but closing the deal is not just about getting somebody's membership fee. Closing the deal for me is to make sure longevity in terms of membership. It's a bit like business. You can sell something to a customer, but if you don't look after that customer, they're not going to come back. The chances are they're going to vote with their feet and they are going to walk. And exactly the same thing, in my opinion, happens within Toastmasters. We, Toastmasters, offer the ability to teach people how to speak. The member walking through the door is looking for somebody to teach them how to speak. Bingo, we have a match. And we spend an awful lot of time recruiting members into the organisation. But equally, we should be spending time after they've joined to make sure that their journey is a happy one and that they're supported in everything that they do. That's the secret of closing the deal.
Andrew, you just taken on the new VP Education role at the Glasgow Toastmasters. What's your plan for this year?
Well, I've thought long and hard about this role called Vice President of Education. And going back to what I said earlier about leadership is getting to know the members of the club. So I have spent time interviewing every single member of the club, or at least those that wish to be interviewed. I've found out what their aspirations are for this year. And my plan is to match those aspirations with the speaking opportunities that are now available through our extended meetings that we will hold every second Tuesday of the month. By the end of the year, I want members to be able to turn around and say, I have moved leaps and bounds to get to the objective which I'm looking for. I'm hoping to see by the end of the year we have a number of our members knocking on the door of the 4th and 5th levels of their pathways. I'm hoping that those that are currently on their 4th and 5th levels within the pathways plan are knocking on the door of becoming distinguished Toastmasters themselves, the ultimate accolade to say you've done well within Toastmasters.
What one piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to be a better leader?
Well, I think you really need to think about what leadership means to you. We could start this conversation by saying, well, should we go along the lines of university students and define who is a leader and look at the great leaders in the business world? Or is leadership a lot simpler than that? Isn't leadership about common sense? Isn't it about learning about the people around you? Isn't it about encouraging people around you to do better? You know, we don't need to go to university. We don't need to get an MBA to figure out how to be the go-to chap within a club like Toastmasters. My advice to anybody who wants to become a leader is opportunities will come your way in Toastmasters. You'll be given an opportunity to, for example, join a committee, join a working group. Challenges of taking on roles, for example, maybe giving an educational speech within your club. Grab these opportunities with both hands. They're opportunities that commercial training companies will charge you a fortune for in a day, and they're here, they're available in Toastmasters free of charge. Grab them with both hands and never, ever, ever look back.
Right, so we're going to play a rapid fire round. Andrew, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to use my mobile and we have 5 questions.
Fine.
So,
I'm allowed to shoot people in this. No, no.
yes, you are. Right, okay. What inspired you to become a leader?
I don't think I was ever inspired to become a leader. It's just something that happened. And once it happened, it just progressed from there.
Right. What is your proudest professional achievement?
Well, there were 2 of them. The first one was receiving my DTM award, which I received on a birthday, believe it or not. Fantastic, a birthday. And the second was winning the District 91 Table Topics Championship.
That's great.
Fantastic.
What is one personal habit that contributes to your success?
Stubbornness. I won't let things get me down. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go back and I'm going to find a way that does make it work.
How do you handle failure as a leader?
No such thing as failure. If what you term failure, I look at it as something didn't work right this time. Let's go back and make it work a second time.
Right, the last one. What is the biggest pet peeve?
People that don't understand management. They regard management as being a step up where they can sit there and they can point at people and say, do this, do that, do the next thing. That is not leadership. Leadership is about getting to grips with the people that are in your group and guiding them, encouraging them to take the steps you want them to take.
Right. Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rad.